Welcome to Miracle Mondays with Rae Lashea. I'm Rae Lashea. I'm your host. I'm here every Monday from 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, for about 25 to 30 minutes with a dope guest, usually an entrepreneur or someone with an amazing or uncommon or important profession that we want to hear about or hear from. And today we have joining us Mr. Guy Robert Desir, and he is a certified New York life insurance agent. And so we're waiting for him to join us. In the meantime, definitely jot down and check out, really have to get this situated. My website, www.lessproblemsmoremiracles.com. That's lessproblemsmoremiracles.com. You can put your email address in for the free PDF Miracle Makers Roadmap. And also check out the books that I have there. You Are a Star, children's book. There's the picture book for 5 and under. There's the activity and coloring book for 6 and up. Also, Black Geisha, the erotica novel for men and women, and also 52 Weeks of Miracles, the self-help and spiritual growth journal. So check those out. We want to thank Guy, also, who's here as Roro Kayin, for joining us. If you would please just press that button to say join the live, and I will let you in. I do believe there's a way I can do it too. Yes. Let's see. Let's get it going. If you would agree, request me yourself, then we can let you in. Hello. Is
Good
there a way for
afternoon.
you to turn your phone the other way?
Sure, we
Wait,
can do that. We
It's so
can
good
do
to
that.
see you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I am well. I can't complain. Thank you. Thank you.
You look fantastic.
Thank you. Thank you. I
Thank
try. I try. I'm trying to get my college weight back on.
oh, let me you don't have to try hard, but what are you pumping iron to get it to bulk
Oh,
up?
no. Just running. No pumping, no nothing. Nope. Nope.
You ran track in college.
Played soccer.
Played soccer. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, before we dive into all that, let us introduce you. Please tell the people who you are and what you do.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the live. My name is Guy Desir. If you want to say the whole thing, that's fine. I usually just say Guy Desir, but it is Guy Robert Desir if you want to call me that. And what I do in my practice, we literally help ideal clients deciding from the ideal age to retire all the way to protecting their wealth, essentially guiding them to planning for the future that they want, right? And I have quite a, a, a pretty experienced staff with me that help me to make sure that I give my client the best planning possible through my consultants.
Awesome. Now, how long have you been in this field?
This is going to be my 5th year.
5 years.
Yes, yes. Prior to that, I was in retail for Jesus, almost 17 years.
Oh wow, that's yeah. And what
Yeah.
made you switch?
Well, ideally, my daughter was the first reason why I switched. I watched the movie, I believe Frozen, the first one, like 5 times or 6 times with her. I usually say 50, but it's about 5 or 6 times with her. But I fall asleep right after the credits. Because
Okay.
coming home from retail, I was working so many hours that I would be so tired. And after watching the credits, I'm knocked out.
Right.
And my daughter was smart enough to keep jabbing me with like I know nothing about the movie, and we've watched it 50 times. So she'll keep going at me with it. And then from there, I was just like, I got to change. I got to spend more time with her because she was growing. And at the time, she was about 7,
Uh-huh.
right? And she was understanding a lot of things that I didn't know she was grasping yet.
Right.
So with that, I was just like, okay. I started talking to Cherie, who I believe is on the live right now, and then
Yep.
we
I'm
had
gonna welcome them all in a minute.
and I had a conversation with Cherie, and she's like, I'm glad you approached me with this because I can see you do this. And then I started looking into it, and the rest is
Wow.
history. Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful, and that is the power of networking. Also was on the show a few months back, and she went to school with us. So,
Mm-hmm.
and for people who don't know, Guy and I, we both attended Alfred University, and in fact, you let me borrow your car to pass my driving test.
Yes, indeed.
So if it wasn't for you, I might not have my license.
I'm sure you would have gotten it eventually.
Eventually, but not then. Let me say welcome and thank you for joining us, Eliza Joseph 26, James G 0077, J2 Datter, Alphadisiac, who we know as Cherie, Black Cherry Lolo, Ludwig Borgella,
I
Pale
have a
Fatra,
lot of my friends here. Jeez. Thank
Paula
you guys for coming
Fatra,
on.
welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I am Rae Lashea. This is Miracle Mondays with Rae Lashea. You can check my website out at lessproblemsmoremiracles.com. I'm here with Guy Robert, and I actually, which I should have known better, I did introduce you as Guy Robert, and I know that if that's the French, the Francais. I'm in solidarity with my Haitian brothers and sisters.
There we go. There we go. Thank you.
And we normally are not political on this platform, but this is a good time. We know that Haiti is going through a very difficult time yet again, and I don't know, because I don't trust a lot of the places that they say to send money to, or how can we help. Do you know, or do you want to speak to any of that situation and how people can help?
Okay. Like you, for me, I donated to a few organizations back in 2010, and I was very disappointed with the work that they did. So for this time around, my family and I, we decided to do something different. So there is a company called Cam Transfer. So CAM Transfer, right? With Cam Transfer, what we did, my family and I, we went in and they have packages, and all these things are already in Haiti, right? So we were able to select packages that we were able to put together, create our own package, right? And then we shipped it to my father who now lives there,
Okay.
right? And my father received, we did it on Tuesday after the earthquake. My father got everything Friday afternoon.
Wow.
Like literally, trucks came and delivered because myself and a few of my cousins, my sister who's out in Canada right now, we all put together and then send the stuff over. And my father's going to connect with the churches down there, and he has foot on the ground, and he also was hosting a few families in his yard. Again, because of the earthquake, nobody wanted to really sleep inside.
Right.
Thanks to God, my father's house was recently built and withstood the earthquake. Only partial of his wall, the fence around the house kind of came down a little bit. And then he was just like, yeah, everybody had tents, everybody had sleeping bags, and they were all in the yard. So
Wow.
to make them feel more comfortable, he slept in the yard as well, right? So for us, we felt better. We felt a lot better doing that than really sending money to somebody else, because you just literally don't know where that money is going. And
Right.
I was a heavy donor in 2010 because I
That's it.
lost my best friend then,
Yeah.
right? So it definitely infuriates me that the money didn't do much at all.
And ends up in the wrong hands. And I'm sorry to hear
Yes,
about
yes.
your friend. So I put it there in the chat. Cam Transfer. People can check that company out. And if you want it specifically to get to someone that you know will get it to the right people, they can hit
Yes.
you up at RORO_CAYEN.
Mm-hmm.
Roro_KN, and make sure that we get it to the right
So
folks.
that, by the way, that nickname, my first, the Roro is what my mom calls me as a child growing up,
Okay,
right? And then Kayan is what you call the people that are from my town, the male.
that's excellent.
So, so now, like, if you heard, a lot of time they're talking about the earthquake. They said it happened in my town. It wasn't directly in my town. It happened north of my town,
Okay.
right? And then the aftermath, because most of the structure is in the city where, I came from. So now we had the most damage.
Mm.
The countryside didn't have as much damage, but there was, some casualties. Like, some of the mountains, they literally slid, opened up, people fell in, houses fell in, and then it
Oh
closed
my
back up.
God.
Stuff like
Oh,
that.
wow.
Yes. Yes. The earth opened and then closed.
That is insane. We have to take care of our planet, people. We have to take
Indeed.
care of it.
Indeed.
So, back to, I mean, and just speaking in the same vein of taking care of the planet, taking care of people, you are in the business of making sure people take care of themselves and their families down the line.
Indeed.
Why is that important?
That is extremely important to me. First, if you ever visit my page on LinkedIn or my FB business page, my Facebook business page, my story in there, I have a few situations. My brother, back in 2018, almost as soon as I joined the company, a little bit after I joined the company, really had a stroke, a major stroke, where I was in the hospital literally 4 months with my brother, right? Because I didn't want them to cut him open and things like that. But it hit home with me.
Yeah.
Why does that hit home? My brother has three daughters. I have three nieces on my brother's side. So between the two of us, we have four girls
Right.
that are
Right.
very close to one another, right? And talking about planning is always something that I sat down with my brother and talked about. But my brother was at the point where he was just like, nah, man, we got time. We young, we this. And at 39 years old, he had a stroke.
Oh my God.
Yes.
That's young.
And
That,
yeah, very.
you,
Because for me at the time, I used to think, stroke were for older folks.
right.
The ignorance in me, right? We thought it was for older folks.
Right.
But little did I know when I got to the hospital, there are people in their 20s. There are people that are teenagers with strokes, right? And it woke me up. And that's when it really made me take this very seriously, right? We all want to be the beneficiary or the recipient of a life insurance policy, but we never want to be the one to plan for the future generations,
Right.
right? So, and it gets to the point where my brother was crying, not only because he was in pain, but because he couldn't face me. And I wasn't even there to face him on an argument level in regards to it, but because he knew, like, if this is it for me, I'm not leaving anything for the girls,
Right. Right.
right? So he was literally fighting tooth and nail to make sure he gets up and was able to get out. And I must say, thank God, my brother is alive and well now, and
Thank
I'm
God.
very
Yes.
appreciated for it, right? And his recovery is going swell. But it's something that we really need to sit down and talk about on an individual level, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, when you say 39, I'm past that age. So,
So am I,
right.
right?
And
So am
so,
I.
and as we get to this age, we now have seeing our own friends and of course our older family members who are going through things. These are now commonplace, that cancer, stroke, heart
Mm-hmm.
attack, and
Mm-hmm.
other issues. And so that we definitely have to not we want to live day to day while
Mm-hmm.
planning for the future.
Yes. Yes. And we are living in times right now where, man, things couldn't be any more fragile. Life couldn't be any more fragile, right? And again, coming from a place of experience, less than a month ago, I had COVID. And it's funny. Funny, I mean, like, I could have been here one day and then the next day I was gone, right? Because the way it hit me was, it hit me, I had no symptoms, and then I got wet in the rain playing soccer, and then I woke up the next day and couldn't breathe.
Right.
Yes. Yes. So couldn't breathe to the point where my chest started to hurt, everything started to fall apart, right? And thank God I was able to contact my younger brother, who then took me to the ER. from the ER. They're like, we're keeping you. I said, for what? I don't want to be in a hospital. I don't want
Oh
to,
my
you know?
God.
So they kept me for 5 days. But while I was there, it was surreal to me. The only thing that I was comfortable about while I was there was that, if this is the last day of my life, my daughter will be financially okay. But I am not okay that my daughter I won't be able to see her. She won't be able to have me walk her down the aisle. Like all the things that I start talking to her about now, right? And like for me, I was comfortable in my skin. My daughter, my nieces, even my goddaughters will be okay,
Because
right?
you
I
have
have
done the
two
planning.
goddaughters, exactly,
And I'm going to
right?
ask you a question in one
Sure.
second. Let me just welcome some folks who have joined us. Dimples 421, Casanova 1094, Silvana Jimena, Miriam, Jean Baptiste. And if I messed up something in between there, I apologize. Myrna Jose, who says Alfred University represent. We do have some of our fellow Saxons on here, and that's wonderful. And also both Myrna and Silvana were guests since within the year that I've been doing this IG Live. So I'm very grateful to all of our cohorts and
Congrats.
peers from Alfred. I'm Rae Lashea. This is Miracle Mondays with me. I'm here every Monday, 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern, and I say almost every Monday if I'm not traveling and if my guest shows up. So, there's a little bit of flexibility in there. Check out my website, please, at lessproblemsmoremiracles.com. Put your website address, not your website address, your email address in there. Get the free Miracle Makers PDF roadmap. Also, check out the books that I have. How do people plan for a future for their children or beneficiaries in the event that something goes catastrophically wrong when they didn't expect it?
Well, it first start with a conversation. Call your local agent, reach out, right? We can all now Google, right? You can get enough information on Google where you can get to a point where you now become somewhat educated, right? With that education now, you could decide, okay, what would I want my legacy to be? Do I want to leave something for, like, I know a lot of what my daughter wants to do because we talk all the time about it. So now, whether I'm here or not, I have to ensure that she has that opportunity, right? She has the resources to make it happen. Just because I'm not here, I shouldn't stop her dream from happening. I want her to be happy chasing it, right? So for me, that's part of my planning. If I leave nothing tomorrow, I am very happy of what I've done for my daughter and her future. I
Right.
am very happy for the support I'll be able to provide for my nieces and my goddaughters, right? And my godson, by the way. Oh shoot, I almost left him out.
Not all about
Oh
right.
my God, because I'm so
You're a
surrounded by
girl
women,
dad. You're
right? I'm so surrounded by women. My godson, by the way, my godson is another Alfredian's son, right? And that's Bishop's son,
oh wonderful.
Charles William Jr., right? And again, it all starts with that conversation. Have it. It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Prior to this life, I was in retail, right? Prior to life insurance, I was in retail. And for me, it was just like, okay, I just get whatever it is at work. I didn't think too much about it, right? But again, what happened if we lose our job? We are living in time right now where everything was stripped away from us,
Yeah.
right? What happened if we get fired? What happened if we retire? So all these questions you have to be able to answer. Like, when was the last time you reached out to your HR personnel and say, well, what happened to my life insurance when I retired? We don't do that,
Right.
right? What
And health
happened to my
and
life
health
insurance
insurance.
as well? And what happened to my life insurance if I leave this job or if I get fired? We don't
Right.
ask those questions and we
Right.
don't think about them. But then right now, you are at the best health that you can be. You wait till tomorrow, you don't know what's coming.
Right.
A month ago, I was in better health. Right now, any question, any application that I fill out, oh, well, have you been in the hospital lately? Oh, yeah. Were you there longer than 2 days? Yes, right? And that changes
That
their
changes a lot.
perception of me and the way
Right,
they look at me as an African, right? And people don't understand that. And this
right,
is like a difference like from a month, right? So now that when we say, okay, I'll do it next year or the year after, we don't know what's coming.
correct.
2019, well, we were mourning Kobe Bryant like we didn't know COVID was coming.
Right,
And that was in January. By
right.
March, the country shut down.
I mean, and just think about that situation with Kobe himself.
Exactly.
That was
Exactly.
he was fine in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
within a few hours, catastrophe.
And I'll sit with some people and they're like, "Well, D, man, I don't have to worry about that because I ain't got that kind of money to be traveling by air." It doesn't matter. You're in New York traffic.
One
You
thing
don't
that's
know what would happen.
inevitable, no matter how difficult the conversation is, death is inevitable. And
Exactly.
we
It's
have
coming.
to plan for it. We have to talk about it. Let me welcome a few people. Eddie Bastian, welcome to Miracle Mondays with Rae Lashea. I actually wanted to welcome Eddie and then answer James's question. James G, um, who asked, did your parents' house sustain any damages? And you did already mention
Yes.
Dad's house was newly built, so it was strong with new materials and
I am happy to see James on here. James and I, we grew up together back at
okay.
home in Haiti. So our parents are neighbors, right?
Wow.
So yes, the house sustained everything pretty well. The like a good 2 feet, I believe, of the wall of the fence came down, and then other than that, everything else stayed intact. My father has been sleeping in the yard along with a few neighbors and families because he wanted them to feel comfortable because he's hosting a few people. So that's where we at there.
And we also spoke about this company called Cam, not Can.
Transfer.
Sorry, Cam. They just did a automatic check for me. Cam Transfer, who Guy.
Who we use to transfer goods to my father, right? My sister, myself, my brothers, and my cousins, we were able to go into camtransfer.com. They have packages, and all these stuff are already in Haiti. We were able to order and have the order delivered to my father. So we ordered on a Tuesday. The order delivery was done by Friday afternoon, and we were able to speak to my dad and the people that are making the delivery to make sure that they put the stuff where my dad can access it. Because at 74, we didn't want him to be doing too much, right?
Right.
So
And
that,
so,
that
because
it was great.
And so that's for anyone who wants to help and donate or do something for the cause, but who, like me, doesn't know who to send it to, and like Guy may have lost or been disappointed in how the money was dealt with in 2010. So this is a company that we know you can actually ship goods to and through Haiti. And if you want to specifically get it to his dad, who is on the ground there and can get it to families who are in need, you can hit him up privately. Roro underscore KN, RORO underscore CAYEN, which we learned is his nickname from childhood and the area he grew up in. Also, as you just spoke about COVID, last week my guest didn't show up, but I ended up having a Q&A
I watched it.
with the audience, and I talked about my bout with COVID. If anyone wants to hear it,
Oh, tell us.
scroll till close to the end when I'm talking about it, and it's nothing spectacular. But I did also have COVID, and unexpectedly didn't know it at first, and then didn't believe it at second. And so James, you have to look at last week's it's in my archives in the IGTV, so check out last week and you can hear about it. Welcome Lux Son Philippe to Miracle Mondays with Rae Lashea. I'm here with Guy Robert, who is talking about the importance of life planning, financial planning, future planning. You mentioned get in touch with an agent in your area for that initial conversation. Just clarify what kind of agent, who should they be looking for, where can they find them, and what should they be looking to talk about or ask to get the best answers for what they need to plan.
Okay. Well, um, once you get in contact with an agent, one of the things that you want to be sure of is that person the right person to help you, right? And how do you figure that out? There's certain things that you pay attention to. Just like when you go to your doctor, you look around. Like if that clinic is not clean, I'm the next chance out. I'm zooming, right? And if certain things are not in place, the next chance I get, I'm out, right? But when you get to a life insurance agent, how organized is that person, right? If that person is all over the place, chances are your things will be all over the place. And there's certain key questions that you want to ask, right? So let's say, for example, we all in different places in our life right now, right? My practice right now mostly focus on the pre-retirees, the baby boomers. So I have small business owners from 50 to 65. That's my target. That's who I focus on, right? I do individual plan mostly for my friends, for people that I know from acquaintances that we encounter, whether at a meeting, at a network event, and things like that. But other than that, my focus is the business. I have 4 consultants that I work with. Overall, put us all together, we have 120 years of experience.
Okay.
Right? So that agent has to be an expert in their field. Me, I'm an expert in relationship. We're going to sit down, we're going to talk, and I'm going to get to know you. And then I'm going to turn around, I'm going to go to my consultants and talk about where you are, what you'd like to accomplish, and what plan can help you get there. Right? And this is how we work. So now when you see that you show up to somebody and then the minute you sit down, you say, I want this, they give you $sign, that's not a good sign. Because they didn't really get to know you yet. They just want to see your money.
Right.
Right? That's all they want to see. The more questions that person asks you, the more chances you have of having somebody that's planning for you. The less questions they ask you, they just like, listen, well, you want 100,000, 200,000, that's going to be this much. I don't care what you say about companies. There's plenty of different companies out there, right? Plenty of different companies that could give you, it could be cheap, it could be expensive. But what are you getting?
Yeah.
Right? Is that agent sitting down and educating you on the plan and also your options? I have not sat down with anybody where I'm bad mouthing a company. Because thanks to God, I'm at a place now where I can shop around for any client.
Huh.
I don't have to stay in my company to be like, yo, you have to get this. Because again, we are at a different place.
Right.
Right? So now when I sit down with, again, my pre-retirees, they have all type of conditions that may already happen in their life and their health is not 100%. So now I have to be able to find a company that's going to approve a case for them. Because my company directly, right, may have a tighter underwriting process. And when you get rejected from a process already, it becomes tougher for you to get another plan somewhere else.
Ah, okay.
Right? So those are some of the things that we need to pay attention to, how we're being received, right? The process that the person has in place. If the person has no process, get up, be like, thank you, and walk away. That's the best I can tell you, right? If that person, the minute you sit down, they see $sign and all they talking about, yeah, just pay this and then you good, just pay. I've made multiple trips to multiple clients and we still not done any work.
Right.
Because I want you to be comfortable. I want you to feel like, okay, you know what? He has made enough trips here, and I think I've had enough information to make my decision. Rather than feel like, damn, you're at my throat.
Right.
Right? So when you are selecting the agent, pay attention to those. But at the same token, guys, please do not use what I'm saying to not plan. Because we are at a time right now where it's most necessary. And while I was in the hospital and didn't want to be there, the one thing that kept me going, I was comfortable with. If that was my last day, I was comfortable with financially my daughter, my goddaughters, and my godson would be okay. Because my ideal life is literally to provide for these youth and not have college loans like I had. That's one of my goal in life.
Yeah.
If I'm here, that word's just tougher because the amount of money that I would want to leave them, I got to do it while I'm here so that way they don't have those bills. right?
Right, right.
But if I'm not here, they're still good. They just don't have my presence. You know what I mean? And we have to make it that necessary in our life on day to day, and especially like I made it so granular for some of the guys that I meet with, because again, if you're not a target market for me, I can easily say, okay, you know what, this is how it works. This is that, and then third. No, I take the same time to give you the education that you need, and then to show you that listen, right now out there right now as a young African American, we are being picked out and taken down one after the other.
Yeah.
We don't control that, right? People could throw whatever else that they want at it. We don't control it. The one thing that we control is to do something in case something happens and we don't come back home, our family's good.
Let me throw something. We're out of time, but let me throw something out to you. Somebody said to me, if more young black males, especially those in the hood,
Mm-hmm,
had life insurance,
mm-hmm,
and those life insurance companies had to start paying out for those, especially those who were being killed by police brutality, those
mm-hmm.
life insurance companies would start fighting for the lives of young black men. What do you
It's on
think
my
about
page. I have the video on my page.
that? Okay, okay.
I have the video on my page, and that's absolutely right. So just imagine. So now I'm with one of the largest companies, right? Just imagine for the past year, based on what's reported, forget about the ones that there was nobody with a camera around to film and post and all that stuff.
Right.
You think if every time those things happen, my company had to write a check for 1 million, for 1.5 mil, for 2 mil, for half a mil, they're gonna be like, listen, we need to put some things in order here to help those communities because the police officers can't keep doing this
Right. Right.
because they have to pay. But when it's just us fighting, and just imagine a company like that now fighting for you.
Right.
When it's just us fighting, the amount of noise that we can make is still here.
And noise
The amount
noise
of
doesn't
noise.
get things done. It's the dollars, and it's when you hit them in their pockets that's when change starts being made. And
Exactly.
collectively, we can. It's not even about petitioning them. It's about taking the steps that will protect us, that will
Hmm.
actually protect us.
Indeed. Indeed, I agree. Right? We have to take action. This is at the time where we are right now, life is fragile. We have too many things against us. And the one thing that we need to cherish is our families. Right? And if we don't do it while we're here, we work hard as an ethnic group. We work very hard,
Yeah.
right? And but we always leave nothing behind. One
Right.
of the things that I educate some of the youngsters on, our ancestors, they wanted to get more life insurance. They weren't allowed to, right? They were limited to $5,000
Mm.
while everybody else was getting millions,
Right.
right? So now just imagine, right? $5,000, that's enough to bury them and to live, let's say, a thousand or so for the families
Right.
back then. But then now, there's no limit on how much we can get. Why not get it?
Right.
Right? Why not? So like, and I tell people like, if I knew this is how it was, man, right after college, I would have been like, you know what I mean? Because life insurance, we only know it as just providing for a beneficiary. And I know you said we're out of time, but when it comes to compounding of money, compounding interest, and you're a youngster, go in, do some research on compounding of the dollar, right? If you put $2 away every day from now for the next 20 years, every year, not every day, every year, by the time you reach 20 years, you get $1 million, right? But also, if you were to take taxes out of it every year, you know how much money you have left at the end of 20 years?
No,
Take
I
a
know.
wild guess. About
Um,
$81,000.
sorry?
About $81,000.
Oh my gosh.
Over 90 something percent of it gone to taxes,
That's a lot.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. But guess what? We could alleviate life insurance, permanent life insurance, to grow for us in a very steady, consistent way where now when we take that money out later, tax free, no
Right.
fees. So let's say, quick example, at 25, say you put $5,500 like you do in a Roth IRA away for 10 years. By the time you retire at 65, you have $1,000,000 tax free. What 401k can grow for you like that? What other resources that you have that could grow for you? Put it away for 10 years, not the whole 60 years of working or 40 years of working from 25, right?
Right.
So at 25 to 35, you put in $5,500 away a year for 10 years. Then after that, you don't have to save anymore. You could be like, you know what, my retirement money's safe. Because you could draw an income from that for years to come.
Right. Right.
Right? So it's one of those things where you can only tell people, you can bring the horse or the mule to the water, but you can't force them to drink. That's one of the saying that we have back home.
Right.
Right? I can educate you. I can teach you about all of that I know. I can't force you to take action.
Correct. And that now is the time. Always now is the time. Gabriel Mackey, D.Mo78, and Creole Amu, thank you for joining us. We are out of time now. Guy, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell people where they can find you, ask you questions, or be directed to the right agent for them in their area.
All right. Listen, there is plenty of ways to reach me online. You can reach me here on Instagram. You can send me a message. You can go to my Facebook business page and send me a message. Also, you can visit me on my website, newyorklife.com/G, my first name, first initial, DESIR, right? And once you get there, you'll be able to read on certain information and also leave your information for me to contact you after. So it's newyorklife.com/agent/GDESIR.
Wait, I'm writing it, but GDESIR. Let's make sure I got that right. Or is it full on New York, like spelled all out?
Spelled out New York Life. So it's www.newyorklife/agent/GDESIR. That's my website.
Oh, I missed agent and everything. You know what? It's a lot when you try to do it right here. I will put it in the in the description when I post this. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you. I'm gonna get in touch with you. I have to transfer over my term life to convert it to
a permanent insurance, a whole life.
Whole life, exactly.
There
I need to do that before it expires. Please, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Be here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Oh, you're welcome. And I'll be here next week, same place, same time, with King Simon from King Simon Productions, who is a numerologist and also a African spiritualist. Visit me at www.lessproblemsmoremiracles.com. And until next week, have a miraculous day. Bye.
Take care, everyone.